Whereas Jesus' teachings and the written word of God are inspired, the faithful and discreet slave is not inspired, although it champions the truth. Nevertheless, the faithful slave provides spiritual food. Whereas in the first century, there was supernatural knowledge available for apostles and Bible writers, in the time of the end, Jehovah does not bestow this miraculous gift anymore. Although there is no divine inspiration today, still Jesus leads his people progressively through the services of the faithful slave.
So I was thinking about this today, and I was thinking about the implication of this doctrine, because Garrett Loesch lays it out pretty clearly, and this is something that witnesses have stated for a very long time, that the governing body is not inspired. They don't believe that they are prophets from God. However, in spite of admitting that they're not prophets and that they don't have any sort of infallibility, the organization still demands that their followers treat the sayings and the teachings of the governing body as if they were prophecy. Now, I happen to disagree with the organization's claim that shunning former members or shunning people who leave the religion is biblical, but setting that aside, assuming that it was biblical, I think that the organization deliberately ignores the context of a lot of these scriptures. Because as he admits in this, the people who wrote the Bible were supposedly inspired by God. They were supposedly prophets of God, and what they said was supposedly infallible. We'll see how many times I can fit supposedly in a single sentence. But anyway, if we assume that that's true, then why would the governing body's non-inspired teachings be put on the same level as the Bible? The context of the scriptures that the organization uses to support its shunning policy were people who were rejecting the teachings of someone who was supposedly a prophet of God. The problem with the governing body is they want all of the authority and the power that comes with claiming to be a prophet of God with none of the responsibility. In the Old Testament, being a false prophet was a very serious crime that you could even be put to death for. And you see in the New Testament, there are constant warnings about not just blindly accepting someone's claim of being an apostle or being someone who is selected as a spokesperson for God.
So the Bible fully supports people speaking out against people who are claiming to be selected by God and questioning the legitimacy of that selection. But like I said, the Bible does not support the idea of these scriptures talking about someone rejecting the statements from an apostle or a prophet, that these scriptures would even come close to being applied to the teachings of the governing body, considering they're not prophecy and they're not inspired. But as I said, the governing body wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want all of the power and all of the authority of being a prophet with none of the responsibility. They don't want to be held accountable for the false prophecies and false information